Hi everyone, it's Stephanie. I just wanted to talk to you about the little assessments that you'll see in the Supporting Little Readers pack. So throughout the unit, there's about 4 times when you can do a little check-in with your child just to kind of assess how they're going. Um, so I'm just going to give you a little run through to show you how that's going to look. So I think this is the second one that they do. So you can see up here, it tells you which resources you're going to need. I would suggest getting those ready in advance before getting your child to sit down. You're going to need some small letter cards and these alphabet flashcards. I'd recommend writing the date just so you can keep track of this. Okay, so this is basically what's going to happen. You're going to start by just doing the oral assessment to see how they can blend sounds together and break them apart. So it would go something like this. Okay, you ready? What word am I saying? Sat. Now, if your child says sat, then you tick it. Tap. If they said tap, tick it. If they do answer incorrectly, just record what they wrote, what they said incorrectly. Okay, otherwise just tick it. If they got 4 out of 4, 3 out of 4, just record that here. Okay, now let's break these words apart. So I'm going to say the word to you and you're going to tell me the sounds. Okay, here I go. Map. If your child then goes app, then that's correct and you tick it. Fun. If they say fun. So you're just ticking the ones they get correct and recording anything that they didn't get right. So if this one was tin and they said an, you'd record that. Okay, again, you'd give them their score out of 4. This is just for you, by the way. I probably wouldn't even show this to the child. Okay, now you're going to do the sounds assessment. Okay, so remember up here it said which flashcards you're checking. These are the letters that you've just done in the previous 6 lessons. Okay, so we're just checking on these previous 6. Okay, so they're all written here. Basically, you get your flashcards and you say, okay, what sound is this one? What's this one? What sound is this? You know, sometimes it's tricky ticking while you're trying to assess with them. So what I like to do is just, if I said to the child, what sound is this? If they got it correct, I put it here. If they got it incorrect, I just make a second pile. Correct? Yep, yep, and yep. And that way you can just say, when you're marking it off on your sheet, F and O they didn't get correctly. So you do dashes and you tick the others. So that's focusing on the sounds, and then you use the same cards to just check that they know their letter names. So you say, okay, what's the name of this letter? Yep, O. And this one? Yep. And remember, if they get it wrong, just pop it onto the other side. And then you can tick on here what they know. Next up, you can do a little letter formation assessment. So just get a little mini whiteboard or paper, whatever you have, and just get them to do the lowercase letter. Okay, so you say, can you write me the letter N? Can you write me F? And just take note. I do say to parents that letter formation, so handwriting, is a skill that does need to be practiced a lot. So oftentimes the child may not do it perfectly, but it's just a little bit of a good checking for yourself just to see, oh wow, they're really doing their D's backwards. I need to work on that. Okay, so that's the next little part of the assessment. So now we're on the second page because this is a 2-page sort of assessment. We're going to see how they go with reading words. Okay, so I suggest using these letter cards because they're used to them, but if you need to just write them on a whiteboard, that's fine too. So the words that you're going to get them to read are written here. So you make the word and see how they go with reading it. If they need to go in tin, that's okay. That's reading. They're sounding it out. That's great for beginning readers. So that would still be correct. If they went in tip, well, that would be incorrect. You'd write the incorrect answer here. But yeah, if they need to sound it out, that's fine. Then do these other words and then record how many they got out of 4. And finally, we're just going to check in how they're going with their tricky words that we've learnt to date, or their heart words, whatever you like to call them. So they're written here. These are the ones they've learned to date. So you'd get the flashcards out and just see if they can read these. Is, the, a, I. Okay, again, if they get it incorrect, put it in a separate pile, just so that when you come to marking it off, you can remember which ones they got correct and which ones they didn't. Give it a little mark out of. Okay, so then there's this little overview here. So remember, this assessment's really for you, just to make sure that your child is, on track, or if they're not, what areas are they needing extra help in? Again, I probably wouldn't even share this with the child. It's more just to help you decide whether they need extra practice on something. So, for example, blending sounds together. There was out of 4. If you're finding that they're only getting like a 1 or a 2, then they do need extra practice with that. In the back of the resource, there's Appendix 1, and it gives you some ideas and examples of how you can practice that skill. Same with breaking words apart. If they only scored 1 or 2, they're probably going to need some extra practice. And again, I've given you some examples. Letter sounds. So make note of the ones that they got wrong, and same for the letter names. Just make sure that they're getting lots of practice so that they can master those. Forming letters, like it says here, it's not expected that it's going to be perfect, but they will need some perhaps extra practice with these. Reading words, that's this assessment up here. Are they able to sound out words, or have they really got no idea what to do? This will give you some idea of how they're going with that. They might need you to do a lot more modeling. So where you sort of say, okay, watch me, and you sound it out, and then you blend it together. So they might need you to do lots more modeling. And the tricky words, or the heart words, just make note of the ones that they haven't really mastered yet, and a bit more practice. So you might say things like, remember, in this word, the tricky part is blank. Can you try it again? So yeah, just a little overview for you to sort of track how they're going. You can write yourself some notes here.